Now, the United Nations commemorates International Equal Pay Day on Sunday, the 18th of September each year. In South Africa, despite the fact that it is law to provide equal pay for equal work, South African women earn 48.9% of what men earn. Jackie Launder is a Group Managing Executive at Mindcor Intersearch, an executive search, premium recruitment and talent mapping company. And she joins us now for more. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Jackie. Welcome to the program. Tell us about this day. I mean, it's just shocking, that statistic that I've just shared with our viewers.
It is a shocking statistic, Peter, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I mean, the United Nations has been tracking us now since 2006, and it's sad to say we haven't made much progress, but it is good to see the gap narrowing. Even though those statistics that you shared are real, they're a lot better than what they were 10 or 20 or even 50 years ago. So we are making progress, but not at the rate that we should be.
So how important is a day like today? How important is it? And is it affecting the right people who have the power to affect change?
I think that's a very interesting question, because I think it's an exceptionally important day, and I suppose not very many know that today commemorates Equal Pay Day across the world. The only way we can affect this type of change is by getting personally involved. And for me, it really, and for I think people in the streets and everywhere, it starts at home. It starts with how we are raised in our homes. It starts with how females and women get involved in the families, instead of just taking the traditional and stereotypical roles. Even for men to understand how they work with women, and women how they work with men as well, instead of falling into the stereotypes that we've become so used to. And this DNA goes into the schooling system, ultimately into tertiary, and we carry that thinking with us. I don't think it's just a male or female thing. It's about just equal pay for the value of work done. It'd be a wonderful day when we can say it's a leader, and not that it's a female leader or a male leader. It's just a leader in business. So, I mean, even on the top 100 at the moment, we've only got 7 CEOs as women. But typically women do fall into the educational and healthcare and care roles. You said yourself, we spend 3.5 hours, most women spend 3.5 hours a day doing unpaid care work. And that's just taking care of the family and taking care of those they love around them. And men also have those interactions. And it's just the roles have shifted. The roles have changed. But I don't think society has always changed with it. Although it is mandated, and although it is law, and we've got some of the best laws in the world, as you know, on the outside it looks great. But the change itself isn't being affected at the levels that it should within organizations and within our schooling systems and tertiary education systems.
So where is it going wrong? Is it from day one getting into employment? Because I'm imagining, for example, 2 law graduates who will leave university on exactly the same day. They will enter their legal profession on the same day. Where does the gap start happening? Is it that the man is progressed quicker than the woman, or what happens?
I think it's really more of a case of, we see more of the gap comes through in your middle management levels, and then the gap just tends to get bigger. It's not to say that there aren't females in middle management or senior leadership roles. It's just the track in terms of their careers go on a different trajectory. And women do typically take on more roles from a home perspective. But we are seeing women actually having families off and having them later, in spite of, to ensure that they can have a career and have a family and be able to care for them. But from a corporate perspective and from an institutional perspective, it really happens more as you progress from your supervisory into your middle management levels, and then you see the gaps actually becoming a bit larger.
Who is holding the bus up? Who is stopping the progress? There must be somebody who wakes up in the morning, can do something, and is just choosing not to.
Well, I don't think it's any one person or any one role. I think it is a mind shift. I think it is societal. I think it comes from an organizational structure, governance, policies. We've got a huge awareness around ESG at the moment within most organizations, which is really looking at governing organizations around environmental, societal, and governance issues. And this is mandated, but I think it's more at a root level in terms of women valuing themselves as well and understanding what they can and what they're able to do, and working within organizational structures that are able to support them. Men and women both need flexibility. Hybrid work has become a requirement in our society after COVID, which has directly impacted how we work. But all that does is puts more pressure on both men and women, and mainly women take on more of the home duties, purely because that's the role that we've always taken. So I don't think it's as easy to say there's just one person holding up the bus. I think it's a lot more complex than that at the end of the day. A lot of people are working towards it. And like I said, there is progress, but the progress isn't as quick as it should be. Some industries have actually progressed a lot more. If you look at your educational environments and healthcare environments, there are typically industries that are dominated by women. You see great progress. Industries such as IT, manufacturing, in your ICT environments, you see more male influence and less women getting into those types of roles.
I suppose also, as you were alluding earlier on, there needs to be a societal change, mind shift change, because the moment a woman is assertive, she's seen in a different way when a man is being assertive, and that can hinder promotions and progress, can't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's many a times, it's a career limiting statement sometimes, or the way that you behave. So yes, it is things that have to change from societal and from a structural perspective, 100%. And women are viewed differently, and women, I think, view themselves differently in that way as well. So we don't always tend to step into the role at times.
All right, we're running out of time, but perhaps you can answer this question quickly. Are men getting better at getting their head around being led by women?
Yeah. Well, I can definitely speak for myself, and if I look at some of the reports, certainly I do think that there's a strong focus on wanting to be better and understanding how to do that. And certainly most of the men I've dealt with have been fantastic leaders and supportive. However, that doesn't seem to be pervasive throughout all regions. So we are still seeing that they do battle with it, especially when family starts creeping into it. But I've seen some positive moves, and we've certainly seen some positive changes in organizations. COVID has put us back a little bit on that. However, I do see positive shifts, but we're still a long way away from getting to where we want to be. That's for sure.
Jackie, thank you so much. I think we need to have these conversations more than once a year, just to make sure that it becomes top of mind. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Peter.
Thank you. All right, that's Jackie Launder, who's the Group Managing Executive at Mindcor Intersearch. And talking, shocking statistic that women earning 48.9% of what men earn. That's just not good enough. We've got to do something about it. Stay with us.